Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
The first time you try to print a check in QuickBooks Online, the Print Checks Setup page appears. This page asks what type of checks you use, like voucher or standard. You then print a sample check on blank paper to ensure the fields print properly on the check. When finished and satisfied with the results, click the Yes, I'm Finished with Setup button to open the Print Checks page. If the check's fields are not properly aligned, instead click the No Continue Setup button to move to the next step within the setup. This lets you download the most recent version of Adobe Acrobat Reader. If you already have the most recent version, click the No Continue Setup button to go to the next step. The final step to ensure your checks print properly is the Adjust Alignment Setup. This step lets you drag a grid on screen to adjust where QuickBooks Online prints the checks to ensure the proper check alignment. After making the adjustments and confirming all the fields are properly aligned, click the Finish Setup button to close the setup page and go to the Print Checks page. In the future, when you try to print a check, you immediately open the Print Checks page. If needed, you can click the Print Setup button in the toolbar at the bottom of this window to go through the Print Check Setup wizard again if you need to change your check setup later. The Print Checks page shows a list of any checks you have created but not printed. To select the account that has the checks waiting to print, you can use the Account drop-down in the upper left corner of the page. The balance of the selected account appears to the right, followed by the total number of checks currently selected to print, followed by the total amount of the selected checks. To create a new check from this window if needed, you can click the Add Check button in the upper right corner to open the check window. To select checks in the list of checks you have saved, click the checkbox to the left of the checks. To remove selected checks from this list if needed, click the Remove from List button above the list to open a confirmation pop-up window. Clicking the No button in the confirmation window cancels the check removal and returns you to the Print Checks page. Clicking the Yes button removes the selected checks from the list, and you must then print those checks individually. To sort the checks in the list, click the Sort By drop-down above the list and then select a choice by which to sort the checks. To show all checks, only bill payment checks, or only regular checks, make a choice from the drop-down to the right of the Sort By drop-down. When printing selected checks, enter the starting check number to print into the Starting Check Number field. In the upper right corner of the check list are the Print List and Settings buttons. Clicking the Print List button opens a printer-friendly check list page and also opens your web browser's print dialog box. Clicking the Settings button shows checklist display options in a drop-down menu. Under the columns heading in the drop-down menu, you can check or uncheck the names of the columns to show or hide them in the list. Clicking the Rows drop-down in this drop-down menu shows another drop-down menu that lets you select the number of transaction rows to show per page in the list. In the toolbar at the bottom of the screen are the Cancel, Print Setup, Order Checks, and Preview and Print buttons. To cancel printing checks, click the Cancel button. To configure checks for printing again, click the Print Setup button. To order checks online from Intuit, click the Order Checks button. To open a PDF reader that lets you preview the selected checks and then click a Print button to print them, click the Preview and Print button. After printing the checks, a pop-up window asks, "Did your checks print OK?" If they printed correctly, select the Yes, they all printed correctly option. If some checks need to be reprinted, select the Some checks need reprinting starting with check option and then use the Adjacent drop-down to select the starting check number of the checks that need reprinting. If none of the checks printed correctly, select the No Keep All Checks in the Print Checks List option. After selecting an option, click the Done button to close the page and continue with the check printing option you selected, if any.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.